Hey guys, welcome on board. Today I'm going to show you a game which was played between the Patriarch Mikhail Botvinnik and Paul Keres in USSR Championship in Moscow in 1952. And this is round 8 of the championship. When I first saw this game, I immediately fell in love with the opening because in this game Mikhail Botvinnik, the Patriarch, refined the system of the Queen's Gambit declined, and I hope you will also enjoy in this game as much as I do. So let's get started and see the game. Mikhail Botvinnik started and played the first move, d4. We have knight to f6, c4, e6, and welcoming the Nimzo Indian defense with knight to c3. If black played bishop to b4, it would be a Nimzo, but that didn't happen. And we have d5, the Queen's Gambit declined, is on the board. And we have a trade, the exchange variation, and bishop to g5. Makes sense, pinning the f6 knight, unpin, bishop to e7, and e3. Closing the structure when the g5 bishop is out of the pawn chain. And here we have castles, developing the light square bishop before a knight to d7, and making queen bishop battery to put pressure on the h pawn here. And here is the typical plan in the Queen's Gambit. You want to move the rook to e8 and plan the other knight on f8 to keep supporting the h7 pawn. And not developing the knight to f3, Patriarch developed the knight to e2. Very interesting. Knight to f8 and castles. You have castles, c6, strengthening the d5 pawn. And the typical plan in the Queen's Gambit, when you look at the pawn chain, here you can see white has only got 2 pawns on the queen side, and black has got 4 pawns on the queen side. And the typical plan is Patriarch play the rook from a to b1, and the plan is to play a4, b4, and b5, making contact with the c6 pawn on b5 square. So this is the plan. And here in this position, Keres played bishop to d6. He pins himself for a quick win, but if Patriarch would be careless and played, let's say, if he continued with his attack, let's say maybe a3 and b4, maybe, for example, here Keres would win the game on the spot with bishop takes h2, king takes the bishop, and here we have, I hope you see, knight is defended by the bishop, so it doesn't matter if the king attacks the knight. So let's say king goes to g1 and queen takes the bishop. This is completely winning for black. Here the checkmate is being threatened, and yeah, it's pointless to play on. Keres would won the game. So in this position, Keres pinned himself, and Botvinnik saw the threat, and he played king to h1. And I'm going to show you here in this position if Keres would play the same trick. Doesn't work. If he would play it, bishop takes h2. Here Botvinnik has a Zwischenzug, and bishop takes f6, attacking the queen, and both pieces are hanging. So that doesn't work. If we go back, king to h1 was played, and knight to g6. And now, here, f3. This is the move that refined the system. What's the idea with this f3 move? What's the idea? Here, Botvinnik changed plans in this position, and this is also mentioned in the book. He won't attack on the queen side, and the minority attack won't happen. He will play rook to e1, and with this f3 move, he's trying to support e4 break to strike the center. So let's see his plan, his execution of the plan. We have here Keres admits his mistake and plays bishop back. And now we have, okay, I'm going to show you here another line. Here, if Keres would play h6 to harass the bishop, Botvinnik would just take the knight, and here the queen takes the bishop, and immediately e4. And this position is described as completely winning for white. White is threatening e5, forking the bishop and the queen, and white has got a very nice center. So the better option was to play bishop e7, like which was played in the game. And now let we continue. Rook from b to e1 was played, and knight back to d7, trying to exchange dark square bishops, and we have a trade. Bishop takes, rook takes, and knight to g3, supporting the e4 break. Knight back to f6, and queen to f2, keeping an eye on d4 square when the e4 pawn is, when the e break is executed. And bishop to e6, strengthening the d5 pawn, and knight to f5, putting pressure on the rook. Bishop takes, and queen to b6, putting some pressure on the b2 pawn. And here we have e4, the best move. Striking the center, making contact, and preparing to play a threat, e5, to secure the d6 square for the knight. So we have a trade. Takes, rook to d8, putting some pressure on the pawn, and e5, attacking the knight. Knight to d5, and knight to e4, trying to get the knight to d6 square. And here we have knight to f8, and knight to d6. Queen to c7, putting some more defensive resource to the pawn. And we have bishop to e4, knight to e6, and queen to h4, threatening check and king moves and mate. So g6 needs to be played. And here Botvinnik wanted to take this knight is very powerful and annoying, so he took the knight. Bishop takes the knight, c takes, and rook attacks the queen. Rook on c1 with tempo, queen to d7, still keeping an eye on the weak f7 square, but rook to c3. This is a wonderful move, a wonderful rook lift. The rook is coming to h3 square to put pressure on the h7 pawn. So let's see. Here, Keres played rook to f8, and now I'm going to ask you to try to find the best move in this position. You are Patriarch Mikhail Botvinnik, and this position is completely winning, so find the best move. Here, if you thought about rook to h3, I'm sorry, the best move is knight to f5. And what's the idea behind this move? Let's say, if Keres took the knight, g takes on f5, rook g3 check. And if you don't block, if you get the king out to h8, you're getting checkmate. But if you block, just queen to f6, and it's no stopping mate. So here in this position, Keres tried rook from f to e8, but not taking the rook, even better move, knight to h6, check. Why? You will see why. King to f. You need to pin yourself, because if you go here, you're going to get mated. So you need to get to f8 square, queen to f6, knight to g7, and rook from c to f8, putting a lot of pressure on the f-pawn, from a knight, from a queen, from a rook, and from the f1 rook. Here, Keres tried rook to c8 to make some breathing room for the king, and knight takes the pawn. It's a free pawn. Rook attacks the queen. Queen to g5, queen moves. You still can't take the knight, because the two rooks are defending. And knight to f5. Knight to h6. The knight is pinned, so you can't take the h6 knight. Queen to g7. And in this position, the last time, what would you play in this position? It's not a hard move to find. Here, Botvinnik, the Patriarch, finished the game in style, and he played g4. And Paul Keres resigned the game. So yeah, this was a really nice game, especially when I saw this move. When I first watched the game from a book, and I saw this move, it was like, and all the ideas, the plans, the ideas, I found them very inspiring, interesting, and it's I'm that kind of a player. So I hope you enjoyed it like I did, and if you like the game, if you like the content, please, you're welcome to join the channel, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and share this video with your friends, family, and chess lovers. That really helps me. So hope you're doing well, and we are going to see you soon with more chess content to come. And goodbye, guys. See you soon.